Hello, you wonderful people. So for today's video, I want to talk about the new Charmed reboot that I found out about because I watched the trailer for it yesterday. If you haven't seen the trailer for it, I'll include a link in the description down below so you can check it out for yourself. I'm very interested. If you don't know, my experience with Charmed is I'm a fan of the original show. I watched a lot of it when I was in high school. That was kind of roughly around the time it was ending and it was syndicating a lot. So that's kind of like my experience with the show, was watching it then. I highly doubt I've seen every episode, especially when it comes to like the early Charmed seasons. I probably missed some here and there, but I feel like I've seen a good chunk of the series. And so from this trailer, like obviously this video is going to be me doing a lot of like comparing and contrasting so far from what we've seen from the trailer comparing to what I know about the show. So I mean, in all honesty, initial reactions, I'm very excited to see what the show's all about, because obviously they're making some very big, not big changes, but changes here and there that you can obviously see. Like, for one, the two actresses who play the sisters, I feel like I've seen them before. I just can't quite place it. I definitely know the half-sister is the actress who played Vel in Into the Badlands, so that's pretty cool. But that in itself is a big change. Like, if you're unfamiliar with the original show, obviously there was the original sisters, Prue, Piper, and Phoebe. Prue died, and then later on, Phoebe and Piper met their half-sister, Paige. It's interesting because that was like in season 3 or 4. It was a while before that ended up happening, and it seems like right at the beginning of this series they're like streamlining that, because it's like initially there was only 2 sisters. So I think that's such an interesting thing, because that was like a later on storyline element, and it's like, nope, we're pushing straight to that. So that's kind of an interesting change immediately. I'm very interested to see like what direction they take the unique abilities, because I think that's always a fascinating thing about Charmed in itself, was like how, yeah, they can do magic by themselves, and obviously their magic is stronger when they're together, but there's also the fact is that each one of them has their own unique ability. Like, you see it in the trailers, like one sister has the power to freeze time, another kind of has like telekinesis, and another one can read minds. It's interesting comparing that to the original series, because Piper had the whole freezing time ability. What I'm interested in is the sister who has the time freezing ability. Will she eventually get the other ability Piper got, which I always called the explosion ability? I don't know what the proper name for it was. Maybe they said it, but I always called it like, oh yeah, Piper blows shit up ability. Maybe it's more like a combustion ability, but whatever the case may be, I'm curious, will she ever get that, or will it be something else entirely? The whole telekinesis thing, I don't remember who had telekinesis. I know Phoebe had the whole like premonitions and then eventually levitation, which later on in the series she also levitation ability. I don't remember if she ever got it back or not. And I don't remember Prue's initial ability. I know she eventually got astral projection. Maybe she had telekinesis, I think. I don't remember. I don't think anyone had the mind reading ability, did they? Maybe Paige had that? I know what one of her abilities was the whole white lighter situation, but I don't remember. Like, I'm blanking on like a lot of the abilities, so I do apologize. So, and that white lighter situation too, like the guy's like, oh yeah, I'm an advisor to witches. I'm like, is that like a white lighter situation? Are they going to keep that element? Is it even going to be known as a white lighter, or is it just going to be like, no, I'm an advisor? Are they going to dive into that? I mean, obviously this, like a lot of that stuff is picked up from like what, maybe like the first 2 episodes, probably some stuff sprinkled in here and there throughout the trailer. It's from the rest of the season, but a good chunk of that is still from like the first and second episode, so we still don't know like the huge scope of everything. We also didn't really get too much of a look at some of the monsters either. Like, there's like 2 monsters that pop up in demons that pop up in the trailer, so I'm curious to see aesthetically what a lot of stuff looks like. I'm wondering, like, are they going to make big change? Because I know like in the original series a lot of demons and stuff, I mean, demons had like their other forms sometimes, but most demons just look like regular humans most of the time. So I'm curious to see what kind of other like monsters they introduce to the series. I'm also curious, like, aesthetically the series is going to be like. It's on the CW, so I'm curious, is it going to have like a more like, it's going to feel a little more like Riverdale / Supernatural, which I'm wondering, like, will it get as bloody as Supernatural gets, or probably not? Like I said, we only got like a little look at it, so I'm curious when it comes to the monsters and stuff like that. I'm also curious to see will they have that whole aesthetic that the original series had, where it's like they worked alongside a cop. Like, there was a cop, I think it was Daryl, who knew about that whole like supernatural world, and he would help them out on cases, kind of cover stuff up for them. I wonder if that's going to play an element, because the only cop we see is a cop that one of the sisters go to, because it's like, oh yeah, our mom was murdered, while everyone else is like, no, your mom committed suicide. Even her other sister is like, no, your mom committed suicide. You're so crazy for thinking that she was murdered, you know? So which is an element which is interesting. Once again, I don't remember early Charmed, but that whole thing about her sealing their abilities and that night she was about to die, she was unlocking your powers. I don't remember that ever happened in the original. I think they just naturally powers kicked in one day, because I think their mom died when they were pretty young in the original series. So it's kind of interesting adding that kind of murder element. I'm sure that's going to be a big, I mean, I don't know, maybe that's dealt with immediately in the first episode, like their mom dying. Like who murdered her, maybe they fight that thing first, or maybe that's something that spans over the course of the season. I'm also curious to see how they handle that, because that was also an aspect to the show too. It's a whole like afterlife situation kind of plays a part in this, because like people from that afterlife could come, you know, I mean, you can contact people from the afterlife and stuff like that. I don't remember if it was exactly like a white lighter situation, because if I remember correctly, the afterlife thing of seeing people die versus white lighters is a very different situation. If I remember correctly, the whole white lighter situation is kind of similar to kind of like an angel thing, but maybe not. I might be remembering that completely wrong. So now going back to what I was talking about earlier, I am curious to find out what the tone of the show is going to be. Obviously a lot of people have their problems like, oh, does everything have to be like dark and gritty, which I wouldn't mind it kind of having a dark and gritty. So like, I mean, the original show never had like this, like it wasn't dark and gritty. It kind of had like this, the word I'm sure a lot of people might use is campy, but it kind of had like this lighthearted charmness to it. Like that wasn't me trying to make a pun either. I'm curious, are they going to keep that like make the comparison between like Riverdale and like Supernatural and the Vampire Diaries and the originals, like how like aesthetically is the tone going to be? It seemed like from the trailer like it does have like some lightheartedness, but I'm just curious to see like how far kind of on the dark side of things will like the tone go. Like I said from the very beginning, I'm very interested to check it out and see, like obviously see some more differences here and there between the original and this one. Just see how the whole story flows, because it's interesting, because it's like one of those things I can't help but know. When you notice like amongst like supernatural stuff, like which stuff doesn't ever stick around for a long time, I think that's what makes Charmed as the original series kind of stand out more. At least with my experience, vampire and werewolf stuff I feel like does the best, but witch stuff I never feel like does well. So I'm curious and I'm hoping that this does well, because I mean I'd like to see a lot of it, because in my mind initially I'm like, oh man, it's like, I mean they're doing a reboot so soon, and then I was like, all right, it's been a long time, because like the show initially started in, I want to say 98, might have been 99, but I'm pushing more 98. Either way, that was 19 to 20 years ago, and the series ended like 2006, which was like 12 years ago. So it's like, yeah, you've got plenty of open room to do a reboot, which wouldn't be a problem even if it was like sooner, but it's just kind of, it's funny in my head, I thought it was a lot sooner than what it was, but nevertheless. My question for you guys is, how do you feel about this whole reboot situation? Are you excited? Are you not excited? Let me know, especially if you are a fan of the original show, how you feel about this, but also if you've had no experience with Charmed whatsoever, that this is your first experience with Charmed because you never heard of the original show, or you never watched it. Like, let me know all your thoughts in the comments down below. But really, that's all I want to talk about in this video. Till the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day and goodbye.